So socially engineered attack, that's like a fancy way of saying the hackers got to individual Twitter employees in order to gain access.
Exactly. And there could be a broad definition here of what social engineering means. It could mean they somehow emailed them and tricked them into sharing their login credentials. So these hackers could access the tool that had enabled them to send all those Bitcoin tweets from those various accounts. It could also mean there are some reports coming out that it was an inside job, that the employees were in on the hack and maybe even had been paid to help these hackers access these accounts. And that is what's really scary to me here is it's not so much a technical security issue, but a human security issue. And it raises a lot of questions about how Twitter vets the employees that they allow access to this kind of information and these accounts. And you might remember last fall, the Department of Justice came out and said 2 former Twitter employees were in fact in cahoots with Saudi Arabian nationals and feeding them information from personal Twitter accounts. So if this is the case here, again, this will be the second time Twitter has someone on the inside helping hackers get personal information out and accessing these accounts.
Yeah, a software patch or 5-factor authentication would be a lot easier
than
helping, plugging that human weak link. $120,000 were transferred into a Bitcoin wallet, but that cannot be the payoff here. I would imagine, Steve, that we don't really know to what ends the hack attack happened.
Absolutely. It could be kind of testing the waters and seeing, OK, can we do this? And it's almost like a joke. It was very obviously a scam. But what's really concerning is, OK, they figured out they can do it this way. What if they suddenly decide to tweet out from these accounts some valuable economic news or something about the pandemic? These are all market moving and news moving accounts that people pay attention to and can really affect the way people understand what's going on in the world. I mean, the president himself uses Twitter to dictate policy, fire people in his administration. Luckily for Twitter, Trump's account doesn't appear to have been affected by this. But if it had, that would have been a huge problem.
Right. On Fast Money, we were sort of watching this whole thing unfold and seeing blue check account after blue check account being compromised. And I actually said on air, why can't they do anything about it? It looks like the problem is getting worse. Is there some sort of a kill switch or a circuit breaker?
Exactly.
And then they ended up blocking verified accounts from tweeting and accessing other account functions. That seemed like a blunt instrument. I guess they never had to cross that bridge before.
Yeah, they kind of took a machete to it instead of taking tweezers and picking out the accounts that were being affected. And they just nuked the ability to tweet from everybody with a blue check, including people like you and me, and just blocked it from being able to tweet altogether. And, it's really concerning that it took the better part of 2 hours for them to finally get a grasp on this. And you got to wonder, the stock exchange has the circuit breaker that triggers when the stock market drops 7% and we take a pause and a breather for 15 minutes to figure out what happens. Twitter doesn't appear to have any kind of remedy similar to that, especially when so many people are keyed into Twitter for what's going on. It's the backbone of information on the internet. And if it gets compromised in this way, it can be really dangerous.
Right. And if it happened during market hours, the algorithms could be combing Twitter for certain trigger words. Steve, a fascinating story. It's still developing, of course. So go at it. Steve Kovac, thank you.